happened?
Welcome back to the Informant's not here. I need to get inside, I guess, then. Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. Last time we unlocked Brigida's bond thanks to finishing a bullish embargo. And now it's time to actually take on the Grand Cathedral dungeon. But firstly, let's buy the Informant info here. Grand Cathedral's status.
Hey.
So, yeah, we have a lot of undead in here that are weak to light magic and physical blows. Which would suggest the cleric archetype, but let your fists fly and smack them around for a bit, huh? That's hints that we might be getting another archetype that will let us do that. And there's also a moving stone statue. They're immune to sword attacks, that means slash element. They're weak to wind magic though. Right now, only Seeker can have can learn wind skills. So I might want to actually train Seeker on one character and then maybe inherit wind magic onto some of their other archetypes. And that's all we get from you for now. Another thing to note is that a lot of the initial enemies inside the cathedral are going to be weak to fire. But the real thing to know is make sure you buy the full stock of fruit cordial here. This dungeon is going to be a very long one, and you might want to be prepared in terms of supplies, though you will be finding quite a bit as you go through the dungeon itself. This is not Idol's Day, so it's a bit inefficient, but I'm going to go ahead and get some expensive medicines and a lot of regular medicines. Might not want to get Ariadne's thread yet, because once we fast travel to the Catacombs entrance, we get a free Ariadne's thread from Gallica. How nice of her. And we may end up finding ourselves in a tight spot if we're not careful. But before we go in, I want to make use of the fact that we did the Belega Corridor first, and unlock the Merchant archetype on somebody. It is pretty expensive in terms of mag.
I see.
But gold attack with its high crit rate and being physical will be pretty good on my physical build, plus the hero passive could make me a lot of money against the initial weak hordes of enemies in the first rooms.
Of course.
Now, in my first playthrough, I actually gave Merchant to Hulkenberg, and to this day, I'm not really sure why. So because of that, I've heard a lot of Hulkenberg's quotes for the archetype. Stroll's quotes for it are actually really cool.
Really?
In fact, everybody has pretty cool quotes for the Merchant archetype. A lot of the non-standard ones have cool quotes. Now, the shops, like, one downside is the shops aren't exactly selling, like, abacus weapons for the Merchant archetype yet. They will eventually, though. And Merchant has some very interesting weapons. But, speaking of other archetypes, actually, hang on. I'm going to need to save a bit of mag for something we'll be getting quite soon. I do want Healer on Hulkenberg. I do also want to start on Mage with Hulkenberg at some point, but for now, I think I will actually go Healer. I want to inherit Medi onto Knight as soon as I can.
I see.
And you will equip that immediately just to start working on it. Does Petting the Cat have anything for us? Not at the moment. Okay, good. Stroll being my only warrior as Dragon's Judgment. He does have the Breeze Igniter. That is more expensive than using that thing from Seeker. And another thing I remember doing in my first playthrough is that I got Seeker on Stroll for a little bit, just to get those wind skills for the gargoyles we'll be fighting later. But, yep, let's do this. So we still have to make our way through the mausoleum where Hulkenberg first awakened to her archetype.
Hey.
But there's really nothing for us in here right now.
Yes. We're off.
Except for previewing the Merchant archetype's field attacks, and they're pretty wide-ranging. Yeah, those little blue crystals are still gonna taunt us. We can't get them for quite some time. But you know what we can get?
What's going on here?
A Cockney accent!
Someone get here before us? Of all the places.
So somebody willingly venturing into this place, and on their own too, that implies they're quite powerful.
You lot thought it was safe to come this way. This really isn't the time to pay your respects.
Yeah, the things you'd normally be paying your respects to are trying to kill us.
No easy way to say it, but this place, I don't know, it ain't right. There's dead folk shambling about, and that's after I cleaned house. Don't say I didn't warn you, eh? I'm off then.
Wait, is it your intention to enter the Grand Cathedral?
How do you know it connects down here?
Because we're the ones who cleared the path. But I assume we'll meet more resistance inside. I beg your pardon, but are you not injured? Shouldn't you consider turning back?
Oh, I'm sorry, boss. Did I need your permission? I've got my own reasons.
I mean, plus, we also have healing magic, so I mean, we could use that on her, but... Given her attitude, I doubt she'd like that.
At the very least, you need to stop and get those wounds treated.
I can't do that. My friend's trapped in there.
Okay, good. Why didn't you leave with that?
And the soldier that went in to rescue her hasn't come back. I can't just sit and do nothing.
Then we will rescue her.
Hey, wait! Before you go making promises like that...
No, now that we know about this, we must act to save these people.
What's your game exactly?
We simply won't stand by and let someone in your condition walk into peril.
I don't believe you. You're hiding something. Some other reason you're willing to help a parapus.
No, we're just nice people who aren't racist like everyone else in this city.
Believe what you like, but we're going to the top of the cathedral regardless.
It is sad, the fact that, like, her mind immediately goes to, okay, if you're helping a parapus, you clearly have ulterior motives.
Is it not the wiser course to let us do as we've promised than to risk your life charging ahead?
Fine. Even I can see sense in that. My friend's a parapus girl, about my age, with a yellow flower pin in her black hair. You'll know her when you see her. If you bring her back safe, I'll repay you. I swear.
This one's important.
So, this is considered a side quest, but it is actually mandatory.
Oh, come on.
So, you might remember that I went out of my way to show her in the crowd just before the royal funeral. I actually went back and re-recorded that because, thankfully, I had a spare save file. I didn't actually talk to her in my first recording attempt, but I saw her there in editing, and I was like, how did I miss her? I found the other person with the portrait foreshadowing, but for some reason I completely skipped by.
That was brilliant.
But I somehow missed the super strong, long-eared pink lady. I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So we should have got a little bit of money from killing those enemies with the merchant hero passive there.
Alright.
And we are back into the awesome music zone! Yeah, the reason why the Catacombs have different music, it's actually a generic dungeon theme, is because they are a generic dungeon. They're actually a separate generic dungeon that we don't get access to until several arcs in the future.
Strange.
So, we've actually got a few different factions of foes here. We also have a safe room right here, which is nice. We have the Undead, and we have Luis's forces. I mean, the Undead are technically part of Luis's forces, but let's be honest. They're attacking everyone indiscriminately right now.
If so...
We also have just wild beasts, but they are implicitly war dogs of Luis's forces. So, Stroll basically is recommending that you finish this dungeon over the course of several days. Like my Persona playthroughs, I will be trying to finish this dungeon in one day. For this dungeon in particular, that is quite difficult, and don't really worry, you do have plenty of time to spend several days for this if you really want to. Because of the fact that the only real bond you have access to leveling up right now is Brigida. Well, the only bond that uses up time is Brigida. You can also level up more if you get the healer archetype to rank 10. But yeah, let's talk to allies again. Yeah, like, I know that, like, I saw some people in the comments say, oh, if you split this over several days, you do run the risk of getting screwed because, you know, you might not have enough time to fully finish it. But I mean, like, splitting it over several days early in the deadline period, not, like, leaving it all to the last minute. Don't do what I did with my homework back when I was in high school.
No.
Yeah, we do know that a lot of places are suffering from contaminated magma these days. And yeah, as they stated, you can warp between different magma hollows that you've discovered. And we have a way up there, but before we do that, we have... This is probably meant to be your first encounter with Elementers. However, I already Peerless Stonecleaved one earlier in the Beleaguer Corridor.
Right there.
Let's lock onto it.
What now?
And now, we're not going to be horrifically punished by switching to Mage. But Stroll has the fire physical weapon, so he's probably fine. I think I'll take Nightfall. That should give me access. If I check archetype details, yes, I do have access to Jump Thrust. Don't want to be blowing all my MP on that early on. But, okay, yeah, I'm not really doing a dash attack with Mage. Yeah, the Mage archetype's not great for stunning via dash attacks at this point. I think the Elementer just disappeared. Well, that's annoying. I can, as long as you don't kill them, they will respawn. Probably should have Will be my warrior there. They will respawn if you go to a, I think you just need to go to a Magma Hollow. Yes, you do! The Elementor is respawn, and that's how you do the trick with the Merchant archetype extortion, by the way.
There they are.
Yeah, let's try this again, inverting Will and Stroll. That's better. If you don't get the stun on Elementers in the field, you might as well not even attempt to fight them. Because you need that extra damage on them from the opening volley to really stand a good chance of killing them off before they flee. Because they will flee in a couple of turns. There we go, it's down. And there's no way not to get an unscathed triumph against these enemies because their only action is to flee. They'll never try and attack you.
Warrior.
But you may have noticed that also respawn these hundos, and that means free MP with the Mage hero passive. Okay, you go back to healer. Okay, now we can go upstairs. Important note is, once you've killed an Elementor, it will not respawn for, I believe, the rest of that whole dungeon session. And yeah, we just got plus 180 money there for the Merchant Hero passive. So, kind of nice to have this equipped just during these opening sections. As I said before, I wanted to show this off because this is essentially the main benefit of doing Beleaguer Corridor first, which I don't really recommend on a first playthrough. Beating the Goptaros is very difficult when you're underleveled. And there is a major benefit to doing the Grand Cathedral first because you'll get access to a certain other archetype during the Beleaguer Corridor, one that resists Strike, which is very helpful for beating the Goptaros. And apparently this place has an elevator, which is pretty advanced technology for a medieval fantasy setting. But oh no, they dropped the lift key, literally, on the desk.
Leave me be. Observe. Hey.
Okay, yeah. This is actually a pretty good, like, pretty common trope with the enemy armies in most fantasy settings. Oftentimes, you know, different colored uniforms. The first thing to mind was the Dark Nuts in Wind Waker, which the differently colored armor indicate the higher tiers of Dark Nuts, and the highest tiers being particularly dangerous. I remember when I did my thinking in RPG terms, my low heart run of Hero Mode Wind Waker, yeah, the jump attacks of the late game Dark Nuts do one-shot you. That was a whole thing.
Right.
I actually uploaded a lot of that to my YouTube channel back in the day. That was back when I didn't really upload a lot of commentated footage. I just kind of uploaded whatever I wanted. I kind of miss the days when YouTube just let you do that. But also, I do like the fact that my channel's more focused now, but like, yeah. I actually lost the footage of the final battle there, and I'm kind of annoyed at that, because I did sort of like the way that it went.
Oi! Please.
Hurry.
We're off.
Okay, so yeah, the key is on the desk. Also, look at this guy just impaled with a spear, and somebody just left that spear there. I guess Luis doesn't really care about just wasting resources. Oh, we got so many weapons that we can just, you know, leave the spears impaled in people as like a message, and we got plenty of weapons to spare. Something social commentary on military or something like that. Anyway. Yeah, that was I do remember that playthrough still semi-fondly. No, it wasn't really a playthrough, it was more just a, challenge run. But anyway, yeah, I remember, playing through it because of those Dark Nuts one-shotting you. When you do a challenge run, you often do remember the enemies that one-shot you. Or the attacks that one-shot you. Like in, you know, in certain Kingdom Hearts challenge runs, it's often easy to list the enemies that the attacks that, it's probably easy to list the attacks that don't one-shot you, as opposed to the ones that do.
Hey. What was that?
Oh, we actually are allowed to? I thought that'd be a but thou must decision. But hey, it's more experience at least. Okay, so we have a Louisian spear soldier.
They're pretty tough. Better be careful.
Like most things, let me just make sure that I'm getting this correct. Listen to me, getting this correct, that sounds so pretentious. But yeah, these are weak to fire. Which, well, sorry about this, but I have dragons, it's not even called Indignation anymore. Yeah, Mad Watchdog Hundos are also weak to fire, but, do I spend the money on this, or... No, see, this is available either, okay. You know what, I may as well show this off. Money! Yeah, that's actually pretty powerful for this point. However, I'm gonna pass over and then... Let's see if I can actually take these guys out in one hit now. I can! Okay, that's good.
We can do this.
I'll probably make a loss in this battle if I use too many of those attacks, so let's not. Let's try light on the Mad Watchdog Hundo. Okay, there we go, I had a feeling you'd go down. Okay, so now just the Spear Soldier. Oh, okay, wind attack. And Stroll was weak to that. Yeah, I knew that Hell Thrust lowers defense. Because, like, the vast majority of skills that enemies can use in this game are available to you. Which, I should be surprised, because that is true of most Atlas games. But, like, normally you'd expect even the skills that, like, beasts use aren't usable to you, but no, everything that Guptaros had is also a skill available to you. Okay, that actually does get us an item, Firefang, and a little bit of money, but not enough to offset the amount that I spent on that gold attack, but still. And Stroll has Slicer. Next time we're in a fight, I will show off Slicer, because it's a very interesting skill. But yeah, this is kind of just the rule of RPG sometimes. It can be nice just to go out of your way to fight things that the game tells you not to fight, entirely for, like, the experience and the rewards. It's just like, you know, in every single Pokemon gym that has, like, a quiz, Courier's Anklet is Agility +3. I'll take that for a little bit more crit on you, but I actually just found out that the King's Bracelet that I somehow found somewhere has Strength +6. Definitely take that. So we can go into the rest of this room now, but let's go back and free those hostages first. Just saying that logic of deliberately waking up that soldier reminds me of, like, all the quiz Pokemon gyms, where I'd always just deliberately answer the questions wrong just to fight the trainers for the extra experience.
Onward.
I like how Hokubo's considerate of the fact that we might accidentally smash the door into somebody's face if they were standing too close to it.
Let's hurry. Now then.
Hey!
I was afraid this might happen.
Damn it.
Sorry.
I do like how this establishes the tone of the game a bit and does show that,
Look at her ears. She's a parapus.
Also, the fact that this scene is fully voiced is not suspicious at all. It shows that the dire situations in this story are very serious. We're not going to be able to save everyone.
Hey, wait!
Sorry I'm late. Thanks. Guess I ought to come clean. I tried, I really did. I couldn't just stand around. And you lot cleared the path so well besides. So, this is all I have right now, but...
Do you like how this quest reward of 5,000 Reeve is sort of worked directly into the conversation?
Give me a little time, would ya? I've got a bounty I'm after that'll be paying big.
That wouldn't happen to be on the necromancer that we're fighting, would it? Because, we kinda claimed that.
This is more than enough.
What? You joking? You only helped me because you recognized me, yeah? You really don't know? I'm Catherina, the bounty hunter.
So, we've heard that name before, but we didn't have a face to put to it. It was on the bulletin board in the recruitment center.
And you just helped a parapus without expecting anything in return? Doesn't that just take the cake?
I mean, weren't you in trouble?
Proper weird you are. I'll tell you though, I gave her that hair clip. Gift to say congrats for getting hired under some rich baron. Things went belly up and she got that baron to safety, but didn't make it out herself. And when he heard the news, do you know what he did? He laughed. Said even a parapus could be useful once in a while.
Some people are terrible.
Isn't it? Oh, I thought so too. A world like that. I'd tear it down with my own two hands if I could. People are suffering. And all these bastards can do is shrug and carry on.
I couldn't have said it better.
Right. I can see as much in your eyes. Matter of fact, I see a lot in your eyes. You're cutting a path, and it's no small prize you're after. I don't know if we'll cross paths like this again, but if you're ever in trouble, I'll be there. That's a promise.
The loyal hunter, Catherina. Within her dwells the virtue of the Brawler. Nurture thy bond with her, and a new power yet slumbering within thee may awaken.
Here we go then. Let's see which of us changes the world first.
So, we now have a new bond, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give the bond bio here. Catherina's bond is very special, and to talk about how it works now would be spoilers. But what I can talk about is the archetype she provides.
Brawler!
Brawler is your other early game physical archetype. Though compared to Warrior, it's far more focused on offense over defense, except for its strike resistance, which is helpful as that's a common enemy element in the early game. Its stats are all in on strength and agility with limited endurance, but it's its skill cost gimmick that makes it a real glass cannon. Most of its physical abilities cost HP instead of MP, percentages of your max HP just like in Persona. This is great, especially in the Grand Cathedral, where a lot of the undead are weak to strike, and you might want to conserve your MP in a long dungeon run. The downside is, the closer you use these skills, the closer you get to death. And there's another downside too with its first skill, Perfect Punch, as this one scales off your current HP over your max HP. It'll have 100 power at max, which is better than Diagonal Slash, but without frequent healing, it's gonna get weaker with every use, and weaker when you take damage. It does have a higher than normal crit ratio though. And crits are a theme with the Brawler, as its first passive boosts your crit rate based on the number of the same lineage in the party. Then its next attacking skill, Skullcracker, also has a high crit rate, a chance of forget, but more importantly, a consistent power value regardless of your HP. You pay for this in a greater HP cost to use it. At rank 10, you get 15% strike evasion. Rank 14, a buff for both attack and defense, but it only applies to yourself. And at rank 20, you can boost your HP by 15% at the cost of needing to be a rank 20 Brawler or using up an inheritance slot. The Brawler's hero passive makes strong enemies, read those that are red in face sight, more easily stunned in field combat, though I prefer Warrior for its field attacks because you're not at risk of getting an enemy advantage. And you can stun almost anything easily by hitting it from behind anyway. Brawler is required not just for its own line, but also the fantastic late-game physical attackers Berserker and Destroyer, so definitely invest in it on Stroll or a strength build Will. It only has 2 synthesis options, but Meteoric Fist is one of your better area effect synthesis skills for this point, if it hits 2 or 3 times. Energy Ray is restricted to a single target, and it's another one that scales off of your HP. But it's a physical light attack, which means it can crit. If you've got an undead enemy you really need vaporized, use this. Just remember to be careful with these skills. They consume HP from both participants, and overuse of them can leave you vulnerable to being wiped by AoE attacks. And if you're using them with 2 Brawlers, it will also weaken your HP scaling skills on 2 people at once.
Now, I'm gonna take this poor girl home. Catch you later. If we can both stay alive that long.
The saddest part is, she needs to get out of this cathedral with her corpse very, very quickly, or things could get even more tragic, let's just say.
Pushing forward.
Stay present.
It's gonna be a long time before we get to the top floor, by the way.
You're so lucky.
But we have, just has happened to get a new weapon for that new archetype, Exorcist Knuckles. And also, there just happens to be Plateau here, as if they wanted you to immediately give that archetype to somebody. Well, who am I not to oblige? This is why I saved some mag, by the way. So, going for a strength build on Will, normally I really like to put this on him for this dungeon. But I'm actually kind of working on Merchant right now, and I'm liking the hero passive money that I'm getting right now, so... I think I'm gonna have... Okay, I can afford to give it to both Stroll and Will right now, and I'll definitely want it on Will for later, so I'm gonna take it on both of them.
I see.
But for now, Stroll will be the main one using it.
Of course.
Spend thine own vitality. That's just such a cool way to put it.
Yeah.
Nothing but your own fists and the gauntlet weapons that we equip from this. Okay, yeah, nice. We have enough of archetype progress to get some more heroes through.
Right. I could get used to this.
I did promise to show Slicer, though. And the enemies here there are gonna be more Fire Weak enemies coming up. But yeah, let's grab this on Will before we leave.
I see.
I guess I can mention that Brawler is actually called Monk in Japanese, much closer to the Dungeons & Dragons class. And yeah, I do wonder why it got changed in the translation. I do feel like it was probably because of the... Just gonna go ahead and save here. I'm not sure why it got changed in the translation, but I do wonder if it's because the original origins of the monk class in Dungeons & Dragons they were very much rooted in Orientalism of the 80s, of being like, oh, Asian martial arts movies, all Asian people, like, are good at kung fu and the like. And it is, like, I always found it strange to have a class called Monk, because, I guess this is because of my Age of Empires background, but to me, hang on, I've been down here, right? Oh, yeah, that's right, at the same point. To me, the name Monk for a class always had religious connotations more than it did that of a physical brawler. And I get that they meant, like, monk in the... But again, I still think it's very strange to associate, a monk class with, like, Eastern religions, because, like, in fact, like, there are ones like Buddhism that it feels very antithetical to, so, yeah, I always found the whole idea of the monk class in Dungeons & Dragons just generally very, very strange, and I'm not against the fact that it's been renamed to Brawler here. Like, I honestly think that makes more sense to me. Just the idea of a class that's focused on, you know, fists. There's really nothing remotely, like, religious or, about this archetype in this game.
I see the end.
So it makes sense to me.
If it's useful, I say grab it.
Okay, yeah, this right here is a Silent Hill, as I like to call it, Actually, no, it's not a Silent Hill door. It's a door that does open, but it opens into nothing because of rubble. Speaking of opening into nothing because of rubble, down there. So this room is kind of cool in the way they give you freedom to traverse it, because you're meant to get to the other side here, and the safer way is to head around the sides of the room. Or you can go down the bottom, where you'll have to fight your way through a giant pack of stronger wolf enemies. And, well, you know me, I like to soak up every last inch of experience, so that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Hello, ow, wolf thing.
You could do it.
Yeah, that thing being weaker than me is the reason why I didn't initiate a battle there.
What now?
So, yeah, I already have, quite a bit more money now. It's cool because in my first playthrough, I never did this. In my first playthrough, I was focused more on Mage, Healer, and Brawler right now for field combat, rather than Merchant, because again, I had Merchant on Hulkenberg for some reason. And I do like the fact that I can just carve through the weak enemies in this floor. Believe me, that's a luxury that we won't be getting in the later floors. We'll be seeing a lot more actual squad combat there. But I can carve through these enemies and make myself a good chunk of change here. I also like that, like, you can see the battle rewards continue to accumulate. The, like, if you just chain together a large number of weak enemies. It's just kind of fun to get those numbers going really high. I've already been in here, but I'm going to get money off you anyway.
I say grab it.
But if I'm going to be fighting those wolves, I think I actually will go to Mage. Now, here's a problem, because I'm not great at field... Ah, that's the wrong set of wolves for me to... Okay, I think I got some of them there. I did not expect to lock onto that group of wolves. I probably should be using manual lock-ons more. But yeah, we have the War Woolhus.
They're pretty tough. Better be careful.
And despite looking like an ice wolf, it is still weak to ice. It's weak to both ice and fire. But let's go for the... do I take out the small fry? Actually, I will. Because the more small fry around, the more press turns the enemies get once it's their turn. And therefore, the more press turns that the enemies have, that the stronger wolves have. Because these things are level 15, they're pretty strong. I have Mahama as a synthesis skill, but I don't think I'll do that. In fact, where are my Fire Fangs? Oh, that's all enemies. Well, this is honestly the main chance we'll get to hit a whole bunch of fire weaknesses at once with that. This is such a weird thing, but like, okay, so every time I hear Stroll yell, "Try some of this," I know that it actually sounds nothing like this, but every time I hear him say that, sometimes my brain hears it as "Christ on a bike," which is a, it's a semi-swear that I think is kind of more common in Australia. Like, here it's considered fairly tongue-in-cheek and not, like, actually, because I know that America gets ridiculously offended by, like, any religious swearing, but, like, in Australia it's a lot less. Australia takes it a lot less seriously, let's just say. Uh-oh. Okay, good, we added one down, and I targeted the one that was not down because, yeah, I do need to stop doing that. But yeah, another instance where the Fire Fang will be good. That did not actually kill those guys. Oh, but I have Gobblies as a synthesis skill. Just gonna Like, these are both functionally identical, but may as well use the one I just unlocked. It's really funny that these white wolves are weak to Blizzard, because you'd normally think that, like, they're the ice wolves and aren't, but that is always so satisfying when just everything explodes. But as I've said, synthesis skills are your main source of area magic damage right now. And like you can see, Will's actually putting in some really good magic damage, despite the fact that I haven't gone for a mage build. Okay, okay, actually, if I Hero's Fruit... No, you have Medi. And in fact, I think that's as far as I want to take you in Medic for now. Healer. I guess I'm Final Fantasy 13 brained.
New skills, new possibilities.
I need somebody with rank 10 and Healer just to complete Moore's request, so I may as well dump the Hero's Fruit into that. Thing is, though, after this room, we're going to be an undead city. But yeah, when it comes to my stats, meaning that I'm still able to do decent magic damage even with a non-magic build, now might be a good time to start getting a little bit into the nitty-gritty of exactly how, don't mean exactly how at this point, but like how the damage formulas work. After we find out that, convenience is too good to be true. Yeah, the elevator's not working. Obviously, Luis's forces shut it down, so we couldn't just take the easy way up. So yes, we have to do the Final Fantasy VII thing and climb the stairs. Thankfully, nobody's gonna say an ableist slur while climbing the stairs, because that was an actual thing that happened in that game, because the 90s were a worse time for people just saying things like that.
Oh, good.
So anyway, to take our mind off of that, let's talk about vaguely some things about the damage formula. Actually, as it's getting close to the end of the episode and we've already had an archetype bio in this one, I decided to put off the damage formula discussion until next time. So look forward to it then.
Come on.
Well...
We've got some important world lore here. This cathedral is really, really, really massive, and it's kind of a thing that the Sanctus built to tell everyone, hey, Sanctism's the state religion now. Get used to it.
I suppose.
Granted, I gotta applaud them for the fact they actually managed to build a building that's an upside-down pyramid. Like, that must be difficult to keep a building like that standing. But yeah, essentially both the Sanctus and Luis's faction are bad, but our main concern is there's a lot of civilians that are caught in the middle of their conflict.
Huh?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Stroll, there's gonna be even more.
However,
Hey.
What? What was that? What?
So we are at another Magler Hollow here. And with the Brawler bio, I think that's a good place to stop for now. So, I'll see you all next time as we proceed into the far more Sanctus-coded part of the Grand Cathedral, and also the far more Undead-coded one. Also, I'll be talking about this game's damage formulas. See you all then.